Hound Dogs. I'm David Hankins.
I'm Paul Hankins.
And you're on the air with Power Squared, a behind-the-scenes look at what we hope will be everyone's favorite comic book, Power Squared. We're going to try something a little different. We've read the first issue a couple of weeks ago.
Yes.
And this week we thought we would, since we want to bring you behind the scenes, we're actually going to read a future script of an issue that has not been drawn yet.
That's right.
So, and besides us, you'll be the first people to hear about it, or to hear it.
Yeah.
Right. So we're going to read it to you. This is an issue 15.
Yes.
And it's called How They Met. At least that's what it's called now. Everything's a little subject to change, so what we read may not be the final version when all is said and done. But anyway, this is how we have it so far.
Yeah.
All right. So this is designed to be a standalone issue. There's no story arc with it.
Yeah.
So this is our first standalone, basically. So we normally have a credits page, and on the credits page we have a little blurb about what's going on. So right now it says, sometimes something that seems insignificant can have a big effect on your life. So we open the first page. The first panel is an extreme close-up of Mocha in her human form. Remember, she is also the Kasune. There's fear in her eyes. The panel runs the width of the page. The second panel is a medium shot of Mocha. We can see that she's turned and is in a hurry. Panel 3 is day. It's a long shot. Mocha is walking down a path towards a heavily wooded area. She's probably hurriedly walking towards a heavily wooded area. Panel 4 is we pull back a little bit, and there's a group of unidentified people, 2 women and 3 men. One of them, a burly man, points to Mocha in the distance. He appears to be the leader of the group. On panel 5, the group starts moving forward with purpose. And then we go to page 2.
Mocha is in the woods. The sunlight is visible through the branches of the trees overhead. Further into the woods, Mocha stops and looks back.
There's a lot of looking.
From Mocha's point of view, barely visible in the bright light, we can see the group about to enter the woods. We see from behind Mocha as she hurries through the woods. The group enters and sees Mocha in the distance through the dense forest.
Right. Okay. Page 3.
A little ASMR for people listening.
The back door of a house flies open, and Eli, 8, storms out of the door. With little text says, meanwhile. Panel 2, Marty, 8, comes through the still open door, waving his hands. Eli, wait up! Then we see Eli keeps walking, and Marty comes running to catch up. Marty catches up to Eli and says, Eli, don't run away.
I'm not. I just want to get out of the house.
The boys are walking together. All right, if I walk with you?
Sure.
The boys continue to walk. We see that they're walking down a path towards a forest.
Doesn't it ever bother you?
What?
All the kidding at school.
From the side, we see Mocha walking behind a large tree. Mocha exits the other side of the tree, but this time in her Kasune form, a fox with multiple tails. From a different angle, we see the Kasune scurrying down the path. We see the group coming up to the tree Mocha transformed behind. Everyone in the group is looking for her, high and low, left and right.
The black woman in the group points toward where Mocha has gone. Viewed from low to the ground, with the Kitsune running through the tall grass in a bit of a blur.
The Kitsune... Oh, sorry.
The Kitsune stops at a crest and looks back. No one appears to be chasing her. She runs away further into the woods, and Marty and Eli are walking through.
Well, Mom says they do it because they don't understand. We're different than everyone else.
Yeah, I've heard her.
Eli stops.
But she doesn't understand what it's like. The other kids pick on us.
Wait for it. Eli and Marty are talking. Marty, yeah, it sucks. But the boys walk in silence.
We're not so different than everybody else.
I know, we're just twins. It's not like we have extra arms or something.
Then we see that the group of people chasing Mocha is now transformed. One of the woman is turned into a Yatagarasu. The burly man is now an Onikuma, and the second man is an Inugami. The third man is a Nakomata. We see the Yatagarasu flying into the air, and the second woman, who is now a Sarugami, climbing a tree.
The
Onikuma.
tracker.
The Yatagarasu is about to land on a high tree limb, and we see from her view an opening in the forest of tall grass, which seems to be parting. Caw! Caw, caw! The Yugami and Nakomata both look up.
Should have this on cue cards.
Then the Yatagarasu takes flight. The Inugami turns and runs in the direction the Yatagarasu flew. The Onikuma stands on his hind legs, standing against a tree, turns his head in the direction of the Yatagarasu. Lumbers off following the Yatagarasu's flight. The cat runs along next to him. The Kitsune is still scurrying through the tall grass. The Sarugami is in the trees, looks up. The shadow of the flying Yatagarasu is crossing over its face. The Sarugami leaps from one tree to another, following the Yatagarasu. The Kitsune bursts into a clearing where there is no grass to hide her, and she looks up.
From the Kitsune's point of view, the tall tops of the trees. The woods on the other side of the clearing we see the other side of the clearing from the Kitsune's point of view.
And we hear a crack.
The Kitsune jerks her head back to look at the source of the noise.
Our acting is incredible.
I know, it's coming to life. All right. Marty and Eli walking down a path in the woods. Dad says we shouldn't let it bother us.
That really doesn't help.
Continuation of the action. Marty. Yeah, even our parents don't know what it's like.
Well, could they? Neither of them are twins.
Continuation of the action. Aren't Mom's sisters twins?
But she's not one. It's different.
There has to be something we can do.
Beats me.
Well, I can tell you one thing we can do.
What?
When we get out of high school, I think we should go away to college.
High school? College? Who thinks that far ahead?
I do.
Behind the Kitsune at the edge of the clearing, on the other side of the bushes, we see the group now back in human forms looking over the top at her.
Yeah. The Kitsune looks back at the other side of the clearing.
And starts running in the opposite direction. The group look to the burly man, who looks up. From his point of view, you see a large dead branch high up in the tree. He points to it, and it appears to bend with a crack. The Kitsune stops, looking back at the group. The branch breaks off, and we see, from her point of view, it hurling down towards her.
And we see which I like the idea of the shadow. We see the shadow kind of come across her face.
Yeah.
Which is not in here, but we'll get to that.
Yeah. And then, after a black panel,
under the large branch, the Kitsune lies motionless, eyes closed. The group on the other side of the bush look over the hedge. The group is all smiles. The burly man waves for them to go into the clearing. The burly man pulls back the bushes to let him pass. The Kitsune, still under the branch, opens its eyes.
and we see Marty and Eli walking through the woods somewhere. I wish there was some way we could get even.
Like what?
I don't know.
We're not the revenge types.
Yeah, too bad.
It would be a lot easier if we were.
And everyone remembers what the twins look like.
Yeah, we'd have to be like invisible to get away with something.
You're probably right.
I am.
Let's keep thinking.
It's not 8-year-old stock. I don't know how we just captured that so perfectly. Then we got the view of the from the Kitsune's point of view. It's blurry and duplicated. Like, she's been hit in the head.
Yeah. She looks back in the group. They're also blurry. He tries to shake the double vision away. The burly man starts to step through the pushback bushes. However,
a young Marty and Eli are walking into the woods talking. They're a little we're a little different than everyone else. We'll have to get used to it.
Eli's about to say something. When off panel, they hear a cry.
Help!
Eli and Marty stand motionless. What's that? Marty starts running with Eli in tow.
I don't know. Sounds like someone's in trouble.
Let's go.
Long shot of Marty and Eli running through the woods. Help! Help!
The burly man is holding back the bushes for the others, who are starting to step through, but they stopped in tableau, looking up.
Right. It just comes alive right off the page, doesn't it? Hold on, we're coming.
The burly man motions for the group to retreat. Marty and Eli push back the brush. The group crawls back to the other side. From Marty and Eli's point of view, we see the kitsune trapped under the tree branch. The limb has formed a cage that the kitsune cannot escape. She's looking at the boys in the eyes. The group crouched behind the bushes and listen. The burly man looks back over the hedge.
Oh, thank you for coming. You may have saved my life.
The group is obviously disappointed as the off-panel dialogue continues.
Do you hear that?
Yeah, what the hell?
Oh, I'm going to tell Mom.
Not if I tell her first.
You know how kids are.
I say the swearing in Stranger Things. The burly man starts to leave and waits for the others to follow.
Can you please help me out of this? I won't hurt you.
The group walks away. The burly man says,
Not a word to anyone about this. Medium shot of Marty and Eli pushing on the branch.
The fox is free. They free the fox, and the boys are exhausted.
Thank you. I'm free.
And the boys react.
You can talk? Only to you. Oh, I must have been hit in the head by that branch.
This is totally weird.
Close up of the kitsune looking woozy. I want to give you something for saving me.
From the point of view of the kitsune, she's really woozy. So she has kind of a double vision if she sees one instead of two.
Right, sort of the opposite.
The group that was following Mocha make their way back through the woods.
Okay. Should we stick around?
No use. She's already recruited those twins to help her. We're supposed to avoid involving humans.
Group's still walking back, brushing leaves and twigs off themselves as they do. I can't believe we've given up. We were so close.
Those damn twins. The edge of the woods looks back. In the distance, we see a flash of white light. Which, if you have been keeping up with Power Squared, is when the boys receive their powers.
Right. This all reference backs
Yes.
to the flashback. Burly Man, they're not just twins anymore, I'm afraid. She's given them powers.
I'll be sure to let the doctor know that's why you failed to capture her. The group gets into a van.
Thanks. I knew I could count on you.
And then, to be continued.
Right. So, maybe that should be the end. We're
Yeah.
not continuing, sorry. We're learning as we go. Anyway, so that is first read of what we call How They Met.
Yes.
It's a kind of a one-shot is the idea. That's sort of another way of getting into the story because you see kind of everything we've talked about, how they met in previous issues. You see actually a whole thing happen.
Yeah.
And why she gave them the powers.
Yeah.
So I think it's kind of a nice idea.
Yeah.
And so anyway, that would be our standalone issue 15, which I think we're talking 2022 or something. Yeah, that's right. But anyway.
I don't think watching the stream or listening to this podcast would be a substitute for really reading the issue because this is still subject to change.
Right.
And also, would have protected it by now.
Right. One of the things we thought we would do as part of this is bring you behind the scenes. So now we've read you a script, and then when in a couple of months, but you'll remember this, we will talk about the artwork when it starts coming in.
Yeah.
And we'll be referencing back to this script, so you'll be seeing sort of the process. And so basically, as I think we've talked before, we write the script, and now we're a couple of months away probably from this getting started.
Yeah.
Or a month at least away. Because Rachel is still drawing 14.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's hard to keep track of all the numbers. But anyway,
That's
so
what happened. Like we said before, that's what happens when you work several issues ahead.
right, and we are way ahead. We're just getting ready to put out issue number 10,
9.
9. Let's see, that's how far we're ahead. We're just getting ready to put out issue 9. We've submitted it and to Comixology, so we're just waiting for a date.
Yeah.
And then it will be available there and in print and on Kindle,
Yeah.
as well as through Artith Merrick and Indie Planet. So give everybody a plug.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else you want to say?
Well, if you liked this podcast or this Twitch stream and want to support us, then consider joining at powersquarecomicbook.com/join, where you'll be able to join our mailing list and start your journey with Power Squared by receiving a digital copy of issue number 1.
Free.
Yes.
That is great. And we charge money for that normally. Not that we charge it. Anyway. All right. So until next week, I'm David Hankins.
I'm Paul Hankins.
And this has been On the Air with Power Squared.